The annual Catholic Appeal, continuing the tradition of neighbor helping neighbor, responding to Pope Francis's call to serve with love, serving our brothers and sisters throughout life's journey, caring for the less fortunate, walking with those in need. Make your donation of time, talent, or treasure online at diospringfield.org and help us to help our neighbors in need. Support the annual Catholic Appeal.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Terry Hegarty. After a long wait, Cathedral is moving forward. I'll be reporting from Surrey Road about the recent FEMA settlement.
I'm Peggy Weber, and I'll be bringing you the story of how the annual Catholic Appeal helps students at St. Joseph's Central High School.
And Carolee McGrath will introduce us to a leading expert on confirmation preparation as he prepares to visit our area later this month. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel on this first weekend of the Lenten season. Well, Catholic school supporters in the Diocese of Springfield, especially Cathedral High School and St. Michael's Academy families, were rejoicing earlier this week as they celebrated the news that FEMA had awarded the diocese some $29 million, opening the door for the return of Cathedral to Surrey Road, as well as addressing facility needs for the Academy. The federal dollars will be granted to the diocese to aid in rebuilding the facilities that were battered by a tornado in June of 2011. Bishop Timothy McDonnell and Congressman Richard Neal, along with other local officials, shared the news at a Monday afternoon press conference. Terry Hegarty has our report.
Cathedral High School will be returning to the Surrey Road campus. Bishop McDonnell announced earlier this week at the main entrance of the tornado-ravaged Cathedral High School.
We now have the brick and mortar funds to rebuild here on Surrey Road, and so we shall.
The rebuilding will be possible in large part due to the $28.8 million in assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which will be supplementing the approximately $40 million of insurance proceeds already received by the Diocese of Springfield for these buildings. The monies will aid the diocese in its recovery from a June 1, 2011 tornado that ravaged the campus, which housed both the high school and the middle school. St. Michael's Academy Preschool across the street was also devastated. At the press conference, diocesan and school personnel were joined by 36 Catholic school supporters who braved the cold weather to hear the details of the agreement.
We are elated over the news today.
Pat says that people have been anxious for such news for more than 2.5 years.
That's all I heard. Right. When are we rebuilding? When are we going to get an answer? And I think, the diocese really had to do what was right for Cathedral High School long term. I know it's a short term. It was very difficult for families who have students that are there today. But if you look at the future of Cathedral, it's going to be very promising.
Abatement and demolition is expected to begin within the next several months.
God be praised. Those 3 words, I'll add 3 more. Patience, gratitude, and trust.
The bishop said that it has been a long haul since the tornado. He thanked the Cathedral community and others for their patience.
It's taken patience and persistence to reach this happy occasion. I'm grateful to all those who were patient with us and never lost hope. Some people pushed for a faster outcome. But if we had not been patient, we wouldn't have had today's announcement.
Bishop McDonnell was joined by Congressman Richard Neal, Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno, and Regional Administrator of FEMA, Paul Ford, all of whom worked with the diocese to broker the agreement.
We're reminded today as I have noted previously, that there is opportunity in crisis. And one cannot begin to imagine the city of Springfield without Cathedral High School.
The FEMA funds will not only allow for replacement of Cathedral High School, they will address facility needs for St. Michael's Academy Middle School and St. Michael's Preschool. On June 1st, 2011, it was about 70 degrees warmer than it is here today. That warm air, in part, led to an F3 tornado ripping across Wendover Road here, leaving a path of destruction. But today, a major hurdle on the path toward rebuilding has been cleared. FEMA arrives at its funding level after conducting its own review of damage and determining the adequacy of insurance proceeds. It then sets a fixed estimate based on the unfunded portion and pays 75% of that. The federal funds can only be used for temporary accommodations for the school, abatement of hazardous materials, demolition, site preparation, rebuilding, and for new materials such as school furnishings. Aside from the devastation of the buildings, enrollment declines over the last several years have threatened the health of the diocesan high school, leading to uncertainty regarding the survival of Cathedral. It's believed that the enrollment woes are due in large part to the financial burden that families face when considering paying for a Catholic school education. Both Congressman Neal and Bishop McDonnell spoke of the need to build an endowment for tuition assistance, and they appealed to Cathedral supporters and alumni.
We know how much through letters to the editor and public commentary they told everybody how much they loved Cathedral. Now's their chance to like it.
The building will go up. More important than the building, however, are the students yet to enter its halls. I'm trusting those who have benefited from a cathedral education in the past to ensure that students for generations to come will be able to afford a Cathedral High School education.
Last fall, when the diocese received a long-awaited settlement from its insurance carrier, the bishop challenged alumni members to pledge an amount equal to 1 year of cathedral tuition, which is currently $9,300, to establish the endowment. The goal for the fund is $10 million. The endowment was begun with a $500,000 donation from Michelle and Donald Demore.
The future of the building is assured. The future of the student body is in your hands.
Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno also made formal remarks, thanking the Cathedral family for their patience and resilience. While it is still unclear as to whether any parts of the existing structure on Surrey Road can be salvaged, according to Bishop McDonnell, having the funds in place will allow for more definitive planning to take place. Since the tornado, Cathedral has been housed in the former Memorial School on Main Street in Wilbraham. The diocese has a lease agreement for the facility through June of 2015. Reporting for Reel to Reel, this is Terry Hegarty.
Joining me now is Terry Hegarty to talk more about the good news for Cathedral High School. Terry, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And I can imagine what the mood is at Cathedral and St. Michael's Academy.
Oh, well, people are ecstatic. I'd say it's a combination of joy, of relief, and definitely anticipation for the future.
Now, can you explain how the FEMA aid differs from the funds from the insurance company?
Sure. Well, FEMA only reviewed and funded grants for the schools that were impacted by the tornado, not the Priest Residence or Mount Carmel Church nor St. Jude's, which was severely damaged by a microburst just 2 months later in 2011. And they can assist Catholic schools because they're open to the general public. FEMA also only funds 75% of the portion of damage to the schools, which was not covered by the insurance settlement. Many folks confused the $39 million fixed estimate as FEMA determination of the total replacement, but that's not so. That was the portion FEMA determined was remaining after the diocesan insurance settlement, and again, just as it applied to Cathedral and the damaged St. Michael's Academy buildings.
So what is next for these schools?
Well, two things. As I reported, planning for demolition is well underway. Secondly, planning for the new and improved facilities for both schools will begin soon. This will involve discussions with the academic teams at both schools, something that was started 2 years ago, but had to be stopped when the insurance company would not settle. Now, it all starts again in earnest. Lastly, Sharon, I think something Sister Andrea Suzuki, Superintendent of Catholic Schools, has written on the matter bears repeating, and that's that it's important to recognize the leadership of Bishop McDonald in this whole ordeal. He took a lot of criticism, but in the end, none of this would have been possible if not for his steady hand and determination to get both the highest insurance settlement and FEMA grants possible. Both these schools owe him a debt of gratitude.
All right, Terry Hegarty, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sharon.
And as he mentioned, the decision to return Cathedral to Surrey Road comes at a critical time, as that school is in the midst of a campaign to raise much-needed endowment funds for tuition. Folks who want to give can go online to the Cathedral website at cathedralhigh.org. And still to come on Reel to Reel,
Dan Dumas will update us on what's happening in and around the Diocese of Springfield. And Carolee McGrath on developing an effective confirmation program. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel.
You know my resting and my rising. You discern.
The Chapels of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chapels host, inviting you to take time out and worship with us on Sunday morning. This week we welcome Father Jonathan Reardon from the Newman Catholic Center at UMass Amherst. The Chapels of Salvation, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News.
The annual Catholic Appeal, continuing the tradition of neighbor helping neighbor, responding to Pope Francis's call to serve with love, serving our brothers and sisters throughout life's journey, caring for the less fortunate, walking with those in need. Make your donation of time, talent, or treasure online at diospringfield.org and help us to help our neighbors in need. Support the annual Catholic Appeal.
Join hundreds of men from across the Diocese of Springfield and beyond to spend a day focused on God at the 12th Annual Catholic Men's Conference on Saturday, March 29th at the Bellamy School in Chicopee. This year's theme is Return to Me with All Your Heart and will feature a keynote address by Cardinal Sean O'Malley of Boston. Other speakers will include Ralph Martin of Renewal Ministries and Brian Mercier of Rock Group Ministries, as well as local singer and writer Vinnie Flynn, who will share his insights on mercy. There will be time to visit exhibits, to receive the Sacrament of Reconciliation, to pray, and to spend time with other men talking about their faith. Women of the diocese and beyond will have their time for faith sharing when they come together for the 7th Annual Catholic Women's Conference on Saturday, April 26th at Bellamy School in Chicopee. Noted Catholic author Lisa Henday, founder of CatholicMom.com, will keynote the day. Joining her as speakers will be Sister of St. Joseph Eleanor Spring, group facilitator at Western Mass Regional Women's Correctional Center, whose topic will be the God of Surprises, and author Carrie Weber, managing editor of America Magazine, who will speak about mercy in the city. For more information on the Women's Conference, call 452-0812. For the men's, call 549-0300, extension 12, or log on to iobserve.org and look for the hot link to the men's and women's conferences. Sign up now.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news brief. Well, it looks as though good news came in threes this past Monday for Cathedral High School. As reported earlier in our show, the school learned of a major FEMA assistance grant and Bishop's decision to move ahead and rebuild the school on Surrey Road. But that wasn't all. They also learned on Monday that the school would be accepted as an authorized International Baccalaureate Diploma Program school. For the last year and a half, the school has been participating as a pilot school for the International Program, an academically challenging and balanced program which prepares students to meet the challenges of higher education and beyond. School officials say this has already enhanced the school's academic program, with 71% of the senior class and 61% of the junior class taking one or more of the pilot courses. In fact, the required Theory of Knowledge course is completely full and has a waiting list. We have a story on this program on our website, iobserve.org. In other news, a few weeks back, members of the Catholic deaf community gathered to mark a very special day. Terry Hegarty has the story.
Deaf and hearing impaired Catholics celebrated a special Mass last Sunday afternoon that was held entirely in American Sign Language. Held at Mary, Mother of Hope Parish in Springfield, the liturgy hosted approximately 70 people from the deaf community. The special occasion surrounding the Mass was the feast day of the patron saint of the deaf, St. Francis de Sales. Father Matthew Alcombright, the director of the Diocese of Springfield's Office of Ministry with the Deaf, says that celebrating a signed Mass is in keeping with one of the mandates of Vatican II.
It's in that spirit of Vatican II, for the full, active, conscious participation in the liturgy. And that's what we're trying to do here. So that's why it's so important to offer this ministry.
The liturgy was also con-celebrated by Bishop McDonnell and Father Michael Bernier, pastor of the parish. The Office of Ministry with the Deaf is completely funded by the Diocesan Annual Catholic Appeal. The office helps the deaf and hearing impaired to fully participate in the life of the Catholic Church. Kay Woods has been involved in the ministry with the deaf for more than 30 years. She told Reel to Reel through an interpreter how meaningful it is to have the deaf community worship with the hearing community.
It's a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. We're here, the deaf community, and I think that our presence here helps the hearing people to see that we are a community and we are open to meeting people, and that hearing and deaf people can live and work together.
This is living out our Catholic faith, our universal faith, that no matter the language, no matter who we are, no matter if we're deaf or hearing, that we worship the one God. We gather around the table of the Eucharist and we worship here together.
Participants also gathered together following the liturgy as a dinner was held in the parish social center.
And remember to stay informed on all the happenings in the Catholic Church. You can always log on to iobserve.org, our news and information website. There you will find up-to-the-minute and accurate news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. You can also see video reports from Reel to Reel from the award-winning team at Catholic News Service. That's our news and information website, iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Reel to Reel News Brief.
I'm Terry Hegarty, and next week on Reel to Reel, I'll tell you what Catholic Communications' own Brother Terrence Scanlon has been up to for the last 50 years as he celebrates the Golden Jubilee of his religious profession.
Confirmation is a special time in a young person's life when they receive the gift of the Holy Spirit and become adults in the eyes of the Church. Later this month, the diocese will host a speaker who will help religious educators enhance their confirmation programs. Reel to Reel's Carolee McGrath spent some time with some confirmation students in Greenfield recently and has more.
Hundreds of kids in the Diocese of Springfield will make their confirmation this year. They have to attend classes and learn about church teachings. But their teachers, or catechists, also continue to grow and learn. At the end of March, the diocese will hold a confirmation prep class at St. Elizabeth's in Ludlow. The event will be held March 30th at 1 o'clock. Dr. Michael Carrata is an author and a national speaker. He's also a longtime catechist. He designed the confirmation prep program and has been visiting parishes nationwide.
He's doing what he calls a confirmation preparation project, where he comes into a diocese and works with parishes so that they can develop a confirmation preparation that will actually reach the young people where they are and help them to grow in a better relationship with God.
Carrata says his goal is not to change a parish's confirmation program, but to enhance it.
I suggest 8 different enhancements. We all will agree on one common enhancement, and then each parish gets to pick one of the 7 enhancements that they want to implement in their upcoming program. The theory is, can we do one more small good enhancement to our programs to make it a more formative experience in the life of young people? There's over 550,000 kids a year being confirmed in this country, but we haven't had a professional conversation on how we might enhance that experience for kids.
Some of the enhancements include evaluating and owning Catholic identity and developing a spiritual growth plan.
You know, there's this constant tension between meeting kids where they are, you have to, but taking them someplace. Too often when I hear people say, I meet kids where they are, I get nervous because I think, well, maybe we just stay there. But there are aspects of our tradition that we need to share with kids.
The event is sponsored by the National Initiative on Adolescent Catechesis and the National Catholic Educational Association. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And you can get more information on the upcoming confirmation workshop through a link on our website at iobserve.org. Well, it's that time of year again as we undertake the annual Catholic Appeal. This yearly effort assists more than 40 agencies and services across Western Massachusetts, helping tens of thousands of people in need. One way it helps young people is by providing tuition assistance at area Catholic schools. Peggy Weber visited St. Joseph Central High School in Pittsfield and tells us more about this wonderful school.
Whether you have been at St. Joe's for 1 year or 44, the feeling seems to be the same. You are part of the family. Dan Couder, the head of the math department, has been at the school since 1970. He also is a 1966 graduate of the school.
First of all, it is a family. It's a small school. We know each other. It's a lot more mellow atmosphere. It's a safe atmosphere. We are faith guided.
St. Joseph High School, Dr. Jelinas.
Dr. Amy Jelinas is a newcomer in her first year as principal. She said the teachers and staff watch over the students in a good way, like family.
Kids don't fall through the cracks. We know every one of them. Everyone knows every one of them. I know them. And I think it's a really comforting feeling from a parent's perspective and from a student, just to know people know you.
Founded in 1897, St. Joseph's is really doing the same thing it did almost 120 years ago. It is a faith-based community providing a challenging college prep course of study. The school even taught college-level classes for 2 years until the Elms College was founded. Bridget Gormley teaches science at St. Joe's. She, too, is a graduate, and she is earning a master's in applied physics from Columbia University.
I like that, obviously, that it's a Catholic school where we could talk about the St. Joe family, how we're all sort of one big family here. But I really like that, especially like I was a student here. I think teachers, when I was a student, respected students, and they called them to a higher standard, both personally as well as academically. And I like that that continues, and I can be a part of that.
Michael Gatto also sees the teachers as a huge strength at St. Joe's, and he praised his faculty.
And the teaching staff here is great. All teachers are there to help you out. If you have a question, raise your hand, they're there for you, and they get you through.
In fact, Michael is just one of the many St. Joe students who praise the school and what it means to them. When asked to describe St. Joe's in one word, they came up with many positive thoughts.
Family, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Community.
Fun.
It's friendly.
Engaging.
Welcoming.
Strong.
St. Joe's truly makes an effort to make everyone feel included.
Everybody loves everybody. I don't know anyone that gets bullied or any problems that go on.
And it also is more than just a loving community. It is a place where God is present.
It's not every school that you can bring your worship into play in your everyday life. Every day begins with prayer, and we're a real, true, sense of togetherness, wholeness, and we're there for each other. And that's not something you see everywhere you go.
Lil Quinn has been at St. Joe's for 41 years and has been producing the annual school musical since 1988. About 3/4 of the school participates in some way in this theatrical production. There is a part for everyone, she says. And one of her roles is as a big fan at St. Joe's, because she clearly loves the school.
I don't know if it's God's will or just the nature of the community. It becomes your life. It's the students and the faculty and the staff. It's just been a journey of faith in academic excellence.
For more than 100 years, St. Joseph Central High School has been educating the minds, hearts, and souls of students. A lot of things have changed, but they say one component remains the same, and that is the faith and family feeling that you get here.
Father Peter Naranjo helps emphasize the faith component. He is in the newcomer category at St. Joe's in his second year as campus minister. He also volunteers in the guidance office and sees St. Joe's as a very special place in the Berkshires.
To me, it's a great opportunity, I think, for kids to have a school that focuses on college preparation as well as having a Catholic foundation behind it. And I think it gives people an outlook not only into their faith, but also prepares them to go into college.
The basket for St. Joe by number 4, Brendan Foss.
Anna Prescott was a St. Joe's transfer student, but became part of the family very quickly.
I like St. Joe's because of how welcoming it is. I was new here 2 years ago, and they just felt like I was been here for the whole 4 years when the first day I got here.
Timothy Jones also is a fan of the St. Joe's community.
It becomes like a second home for someone, and you always come here being excited and knowing that you're going to have a good day.
And those good days are helped in part with tuition assistance from the annual Catholic Appeal. The school, says Dr. Jelinas, is very grateful.
The annual Catholic Appeal has made it possible for St. Joseph High School to continue with the high level of education that we can offer, because some of our kids, their families are struggling, especially now in this day and age, and it's difficult for them to be able to come to Catholic school, and they want this kind of education for their children. So because of the annual appeal, we're able to help out these families and help out these kids, and it's very important to us.
Steeped in history and tradition, surrounded by faces from the past, but focused on the future, St. Joseph Central High School faces the 21st century with pride and faith, and oh yes, enthusiasm.
Go Crusaders!
For Real to Real, I'm Peggy Weber.
And to find out more information about the Catholic schools in the Diocese of Springfield and the annual Catholic Appeal, you can go to iobserve.org. Remember, your participation in the annual Catholic Appeal is essential to some 40 ministries and services, including this television program. You can help keep us on the air by helping to support the annual Catholic Appeal. For this week, that's Real to Real. To keep up to date on all of the news in the Catholic Church and the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, log on to our news and information website 24 hours a day, iobserve.org. There you will find daily news reports from our local Catholic communications team, as well as from the Catholic News Service. That's iobserve.org. And join me right back here again next week for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you. And don't forget to set your clocks ahead 1 hour tonight. Have a great week.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal and the support of you, our faithful viewers.
The annual Catholic Appeal, continuing the tradition of neighbor helping neighbor, responding to Pope Francis's call to serve with love, serving our brothers and sisters throughout life's journey, caring for the less fortunate, walking with those in need. Make your donation of time, talent, or treasure online at diospringfield.org and help us to help our neighbors in need. Support the annual Catholic Appeal.